So a curious thing happened this week. A meeting of 133 elderly and relatively conservative men became the hottest thing on the internet since Kim Kardashian. Of course, it was no ordinary meeting. It was the papal conclave. And yes, many of the memes that were posted for their entertainment value were entertaining rather than augmenting the Catholic faith. Still, though, the general vibe was that the whole Catholic thing, not just the outfits and the rituals, but the institutional stability and the moral clarity had become cool, at least for a moment. For Gen Z and young people in the Catholic Church, the papal conclave has proven that an ancient religion is compatible with the modern digital age. The Pope is trending #1 on Twitter right now with 1.68 million posts. And even before this week's conclave became the it story for content creators, Catholicism was trending mainstream. Prominent Americans like Vice President J.D. Vance have openly talked about converting to Catholicism. The National Catholic Register says some churches and dioceses report increases of 30 to 70% in new converts. And as you can see from these headlines, Gen Z accounts for many of them. Now, there's no one reason the younger demographic is coming to the Catholic Church, but maybe it's because the Catholic Church is coming to them through their phones, specifically popular religion apps like Hallow. The Hallow App describes itself as the #1 app for Christian and Catholic prayer, and Hallow App founder and CEO Alex Jones joins me now. Alex, great to meet you. So I first heard of Hallow when I started seeing ads with Mark Wahlberg, the actor, touting it. I'm just curious. You were raised Catholic, but like so many, fell away from the Catholic Church. In college, you say you were actually an atheist, basically no longer believing in a God who sat up in the clouds. You say it was a dark and empty time in your life. What changed?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me. But the short answer is I met Jesus. But so I got pretty into meditation actually, and secular meditation to start with. And I found this fascinating thing, which is it was the first real time that I'd actually sat in silence. Like I spent so much of my life, and I think we all spend so much of our lives, like just busying ourselves with noise. And I sat in silence for the first time, and my mind kept feeling these weird pulls towards something Christian, the name Jesus, the name God, the image of the Holy Spirit, something. And so I started discovering this whole world of contemplative and meditative prayer within the church and ways to really sit in silence and listen to the Lord. And I met him, and he changed my life. And so it brought me this joy and this peace that I'd never experienced before. And so Hallow, our goal is just to try to help people to do that, to try to help people to spend time with God.
Your app has 18 million downloads, 1 billion minutes prayed. It was the #1 app on the App Store on Ash Wednesday of last year. Why do you think it's appealing to so many people? And I've got to think it's younger people.
Yeah, we're blessed. We have a lot of folks, especially folks who have fallen away from their faith, or young people who have, never taken their faith seriously, who are checking out the app, and we get to pray together, which is an enormous blessing. I think people are just really hungry for real peace, for real meaning and purpose, but really for peace. And especially in this world of technology and busyness and stress and anxiety. I mean, like I have a little sister who's a good chunk younger than me, like 10 years younger than me, and I hold her phone for 2 seconds. I get 7,000 notifications, and I'm just stressed just holding it. Like the stress that we all live with, especially as young people today, is overwhelming. And there's only one thing that can offer like this real rest, this real peace. And it's not just scrolling. It's not just another Netflix show to binge. It's spending time in silence with God. And he tells you these things that you just needed to hear, and he just fills you up with love. There's just nothing better.
Is the app just for Catholics, or can anybody go on it?
Yeah, so I'm Catholic, so I love being Catholic. It's the best part of my life. It's incredible. But we have a bunch of folks of a bunch of different backgrounds. It's all Jesus, so we don't have any other faith backgrounds outside of Christianity on there. But we're about probably half Catholics, half non-Catholic Christians, Protestant brothers and sisters, all praying together now on the app. For us, it's just about spending time with Jesus.
And it's so interesting because I too grew up in the Catholic Church, the very strict protocols, going to church every Sunday. For me, it was every day during Advent and Lent. And I've often felt and argued with my mom and dad, who are still like that you don't have to be close to God or pray. You don't have to be in church to do that. And your app is proving that true. It's got this huge popularity. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of young people convert to Catholicism. What is it we're seeing right now, especially with your generation?
I think God is doing something really cool. It's tough to guess what God is going to do, but yeah, it's a I mean, for my own life, it's been fascinating. It by discovering a relationship with God in prayer and really, falling in love with Him and letting Him love me and fill me with His meaning and purpose and joy and hope. He led me to church. So I mean, had you told me whatever 5 years ago that I'd be going to church every day or all the time and spending time in adoration and confession and all the crazy Catholic stuff, I would have said you were crazy. That I hated going to church on Sundays. If I did go to church on Sundays, it was just because I was going with somebody.
But the point is, you don't now. You are able to pray anywhere at any time with this app, correct?
Yeah, but we do both. So like prayer leads you to my point, I guess, would be prayer leads me to church. So I spend 20 minutes in prayer in the morning, but then I also want to go to church all the time. So it's like falling in love with God, for me at least, is it brings you into the whole fullness of the faith. The funny thing for us actually at Hallow is the lowest usage day is on Sundays. So most people are trying to pray in between Sundays, and that's an honor for us to get to journey with people.
All right, super quick. You only got 10 seconds left because time's running out. You've been so fascinating. But what does Pope Leo need to do, you think, to appeal to young people around the world, especially the young people in America?
I think he's already doing a great job, but he doesn't need to appeal to people. He just needs to introduce them to Jesus. He's the one who appeals to them, and that's what it seems like he's trying to do, and I'm excited to watch him do it.
Alex Jones, the app is called Hallow, and if you feel like you want to pray, it's a good place to start.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.